All right, we are live. Welcome back to Slim Comics and More. So I have a special guest today. It is Evil's Comics. So I will be doing origins, asking him some questions, and how he got started. And here is Evil Mike. How are you?
Hey, everybody. How's it going out there?
Good. How's it going?
Hey, Sean, you doing good today? How's it going?
I am doing great. Yeah, we just got back from Chicago, so we drove down from Chicago, and yeah, traffic was pretty bad. But other than that, yeah, got home and nice to have you on the channel.
Thank you very much. I'm excited.
All right, so we got some people in the house already. A goo here. How you doing, a goo?
Hey, Goo.
Got DJ Links. Uh, there's Evil's Comics. There is me, John from Comic Issues. How you doing? Nice of you to stop in. Johnny Funko, how you doing?
So, all right. Over
All is
here.
well. Mad love to you guys. Thanks, Johnny. Mad love back to you. All right, Mike, you ready for some questions?
Ready.
All right. All right. First question. First question. What or who got you started collecting comics, and what age did you started collecting comics?
It's kind of like a twofold. My mom and dad got me collecting comics, but they weren't into it as far as comic books. They saw it as like they started it was like 4 or 5. And they would give me comics on our vacations. We would go on long drives. Here in Texas, it's spread out. So, going to Austin from Houston, it's about like a 5 or 6 hour drive.
Okay.
Um, so they would give us comics while we were in the, us kids while we were in the back seat. I have many brothers, but it was kind of their way of keeping us busy back then before tablets and phones. And, because I'm 1980s, so this would have been like 84, 85. Um, and it was just comics were everywhere at that time, gas stations, 7-Elevens, so everywhere you went, it was easy to access. And then back then, comics were really cheap for that time. So,
Nice. All right. Let's see. What other? Okay. Question two. Do you remember or recall the first book you ever brought or bought or read?
I kind of do it. I want to say it was Sensational Spider-Man, but it could have been ASM as well. I just know the cover. And I've never actually seen it again because it's not a like key book or anything. I just remember the cover was really cool, and it was a black cover. It has Spider-Man on the top of like a warehouse scene, and he's using his utility belt that has the light on it. And from the ceiling, he's shining the light down, and you can kind of see it's like a side view because you can see him on the ceiling and the light shining down. And on the ground, you can see his Spider-Man symbol, and it's like a black with mainly red light, like a
Okay.
light color on the cover. But I don't know the issue, and I haven't really searched it or anything. But that is the first one that I can ever remember. Like I think I looked at that comic before I could actually read. I think I was just looking at the panels, and I thought it was a really cool book, and that was like my introduction to Spider-Man.
Oh, cool. Let's see. Comic issues. Is that Spider-Man Noir
I don't think so because this would have been the 80s,
in the
and I think
'80s?
that if I'm not mistaken, I think Spider-Man Noir was like 2000s.
I think so. So it's a different one. Arcade Pop, how you doing? What's up? Nice of you to
How's
stop
it
in.
going?
Collectible Warrior, nice of you to stop in. Hope all is well. Caught you on your live stream as well. All right. Next question. Why did you start your channel on YouTube, and how did you choose your channel name? How did you choose Evils?
Okay, so Evil Mike is my nickname. I mean, you can find like I've been using it for a long time. Like my Yahoo is Evil Mike 218 yahoo.com or something like that. Um, I've just had evil as a nickname for a long time, but everybody hears evil and just assumes something bad. It's actually an abbreviation. It means every virtue is love.
Okay.
But that's not why I got it for. I got it for being a bad kid. It was just something that my mom would say, "You're such an evil kid," and when she would say it,
All
it
right.
always, and it was like it wasn't like she really meant it. It was just that phrase came out a lot. And
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a bad kid. I'm not gonna say I broke any laws. I've never got arrested or anything like that. But I was a pretty handful of a child. Um, but that's where evil came from. So it's partly my mom, and then I've just, there. How many Michaels do you know, or how many Mikes do you know in the world? Like, there's a million, billion, bajillion of us, right?
Right.
So I'm a huge gamer.
Okay.
I have been. I mean, I grew up in that era with NES and Atari. I was right at the cuff of Atari into Nintendo.
Okay.
Um, my one of my favorite systems is actually Sega Master System, right before NES was released,
Oh,
and so I've been a gamer kind of throughout. I mean, arcades. That was one of the things that I missed most in the world is arcades in general. But okay, so the thinking behind Evil Mike is like kind of like my gamer tag. Well, nobody wants to be beat by a good Mike, or no one fears like friendly Mike, or or no one I don't know. So Evil Mike just kind of stuck, and I've been using it for years.
oh, nice. All right. So kind of like a childhood from your childhood, pretty much, right?
I know everybody has a problem calling me that. I don't mind just being called Mike as well. It's just easier. I enjoy Evil Mike. It's actually I actually have two tattoos where on the back of my neck it's actually like it just says Evil Mike 218.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. So I'm Jigger. How you doing? Nice of you to stop in.
Be like this one.
All right. On to the next question here. Who are your top five writers?
Mm. See, it's always like, see, I mean, and I mention this a lot. I'm really bad with names. There are big names that stick out, like Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, stuff like that. But a lot of them are artists. Now, I will say, recently getting into YouTube and learning a lot more because watching all the Awe and stuff like that, people mention a whole bunch of the same names. Recently it's been like Colin Bunn, it's been, you know, Tinian, it's been but I will say some of the writers that I've read a lot of their stuff lately, like Tinian, ever since he started on Batman, I've really loved not only his run on Batman because he's branched off and done other stuff. Of course, he's doing the Joker, but I mean, it's in the Batman world, but he has done some other stuff before then. But I really love Tinian so far. I mean, I don't think I can name a bad book that he's done. Um,
A Nice House on the Lake. That was that's a good one, right? Have you read?
It's really good.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious to see his spin on it because for me, it's not new. That I mean, Stephen King's The Stand back then. That's kind of what this reminds me of, or something in that
Okay.
field, post-apocalyptic. Something happened and took out everybody in the world, and there's a select group of people that are left for some reason.
Right.
Um, and this book, they are brought together by Walter, and we don't know certain things, so I'm curious to see how it's going to be different. And from because it's Tinian, I know he's not going to do like the easy way out and just copy somebody else.
So do you like Donny Cates?
I do. Okay, now I've mentioned this before. I did not like the whole Noel. I didn't like. I felt like it was kind of a letdown. I mean, I didn't read a lot of the tie-ins, so I missed out on like that. But I did read the main series, and getting to the end, and the it was supposed to be an epic thing between Eddie and Noel, and Carnage was in there. I mean, it kind of felt like it started out really good, and his Thor was the same way. It started out really really strong, and then it was like I felt like he just got busy doing so many other things. It was kind of like he just kind of like took this easy approach to it, and that's the ending that we got. Because honestly, King in Black, it sounded amazing in the beginning. Like it was going to be like the best event that had happened forever, and it was kind of. I mean, I don't hear anybody talk about it now.
Yeah, it kind of disappeared really quick, right? Let's check out the chats here. Yes, you did catch. Yeah, Warrior. I saw you live. It was all right. You're always better. Also love the hat.
How do you
All
do
right.
it? You
Uh,
got
Stay so white. How do you do it? I don't know. It's nice and white. I don't really take it out. DJ Links, how you doing? How are you? What's up? Sleeping Comics, how you doing? Hope all is well. Nice of you guys stop in. Justin from No Good Comics, how you doing? Nice of you stop in. Got Freaky Louie, how you doing? Freaky Louie, he's got some awesome stuff.
I love Louis. Louis great.
Happy Friday, you guys.
Station.
Station, guys. Everybody say hi.
I think I missed the YouTube thing.
King in Black was a disappointment. DJ Legs. Yeah.
There was
some people did.
Good parts. There were some good parts of King in Black. A lot of the art I really loved, and
Ryan Stegman's good artist, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it had some of the best covers. I mean, there were some covers that I really wanted that were just so sought after I couldn't get.
There's like a lot of variants too. Too many variants.
There's like 30 on every book. Started sounding like Dynamite or
It's like so many. It's like which one do you pick each week, right? All right, so so you got the writers. Who are your 5 favorite artists?
That one's easier. I'd have to say, of course, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane are big ones. I mean, I flock to their art so much. Sometimes I don't even realize I'm buying their art. It's always, it's like I'll get a cover and I'm like, oh, I love that cover. And then I get home and realize, oh, it is a Jim Lee. Like, Todd McFarlane, I've just always loved him since, his run on Spider-Man growing up. A big 90s kid, and 90s for me was 10 years old. So the big 2 comics back then for me was that X-Men Gold, with the relaunch. And I read that all the way through religiously. I think I made it to like, I want to say issue 200 or something on that run. The other one would have been Spider-Man, his relaunch with Todd McFarlane and the whole, like the end of the Black era, leading into Venom. I mean, you're talking about some great times with Marvel. And at the same time, it wasn't just them too, that they had, Midnight Suns with Ghost Rider going on, and they had Fantastic Four. I mean, it was just a wonderful time. It reminds me of a lot right now. People talk about the bubble and they always say it in a bad thing, but the bubble caused so many good things. The only thing, in my opinion, here in Houston that really got affected by the bubble was comic book stores closed down. But I mean, comics kept going. The 2 big companies that have had troubles over the years, they're still here. Image is still, now it's one of the big 3s, okay, I'm rambling.
No, you're doing good. You're doing good. So you got 2. You got Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane. Any other 3 favorite artists?
So Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane. I like Jay Lee.
Jay Lee, okay.
And everybody always gets it confused because I think there's 2 Jay Lees, and I think my guy is Jaeelee. If you give me 1 second, I'll give you a reference.
All right. So we have cool tattoos. Yes. King in Black has some nice tattoo covers. Issue 1 of King in Black was amazing. Then it was all downhill. Yeah, pretty much. I like the Blacklight King in Black covers. Those are cool too. Big-eyed McFarlane Spidey rule. Yeah, I like McFarlane's artwork. Nice stuff on the Spider-Man.
I was listening, but
okay,
because my comments aren't too far away, I'll probably show you that too. But
Jay Lee.
Jay Lee.
Okay, I know who you're talking about, Jay Lee. Yep.
I just grabbed, but I love I think he always almost always does like side
views,
and I think that's a complaint or something like that. But it's not always. I mean, his art is all the way through these books, and to me, it's just amazing. It's a more painting style of comics.
Right. He's got a different style. Some people like it too. Some people don't. But I like it. I mean, he's got a unique style.
I lost it.
You're upside down. Here, Warrior. Okay, Warrior says anything is going to sell. The only thing I didn't like was the same Batman over and over on DC Multiverse. Okay.
And the only thing I can say to that, and I agree, especially for somebody that's been reading for now, I've been reading Batman for like 35 years, and I will say that like they do rehash a lot of the same stuff, but at
Right.
the same time, I mean, there are always new readers that are coming into comics. So, I mean, I do like that part of it, that we have to remember that at some point there are always going to be new readers that are coming through.
True. Okay. Next question here. Do you like to get your books slabbed or not slabbed? Do you like raw books or do you like slab books?
I like raw books, but I know. Okay, so like if you watch my channel, I only have two slabs, and both of them were in AOKs that I got from other YouTubers, just like Mr. Sean here. And I mean, I stress this enough. I'm a different type of comic person. All my money goes into comics, like literally any side money, any extra money I have, $1.50, I find a way to put it into comics.
Okay.
And I'm mad for, I've discussed this with you before, and I'm not going to go into money or anything, but I want to say roughly it's like a $400 bill a month that I set aside. And that's the way I look at it. It's kind of like a bill, when I pay rent, when I pay my car,
Right.
I already have this money set aside. People were like, "Oh, you set aside this." No, my comic book shop already has my money set aside in a retainer like 2 weeks in advance. Where I've already paid for the books to
Right.
make sure I can get the books because I get paid every 2 weeks and stuff happens, and I want to make sure. I mean, I've always been into comics.
Nice.
Like me, a lot of people, it started with COVID. They got back into it. They got all this extra stimulus money. I've never stopped. I've always been into comics. Even after my collection, after the event, and if you watch my channel, you know what the event is. But my collection recently is from 2018 and now.
Okay.
So, and I can show you that real quick if you want to take a
Sure.
little walk. I can show you if from 2018 to now what the comic book collection would look like.
All right.
And that's, I have like 6 or 7 little small boxes, and I have like
Right.
3 long boxes.
Gotcha.
You know, and that's in like since 2018. I think right now I'm at like 14,000 comics and counting.
Yeah, that's a lot. Alex Big Blue, how you doing? Nice of you to stop in. Hope all is
Alex.
well. Okay, where are we at here? Do you prefer DC or Marvel?
Most people know this, but I'm right now. I am a hardcore DC fan. But okay, it's like an off question. I love comics, and right
Right.
now, I mean, yes, there's so many different comics, and right now it's a weird question because honestly, my love kind of goes towards indies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, indies are on fire right now. There's
Right.
just this whole buzz, and I mean, it's a different story. It's not. I mean, I think back in the '80s they tried to do this indie craze where, with Epic Comics and Comico and stuff like that, and it just for some reason it didn't take off. But now it's a different story, and I want to say indies sell out way faster than regular DC or Marvel. Now, I have a huge soft spot for DC, and it doesn't even just apply to DC Comics. I can watch any DC made anything, and I love it because I'm a fan. But I do love Marvel. It's not to say that I don't. There's just, and if you watch my channel, I have like little hiccups with Marvel. I
Right.
kind of had like a little band that where I didn't buy Marvel comics for like 2 years because I kind of got tired. I didn't want to put my money in a company that I felt like wasn't backing, the fans.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
for the fans and people, I've been getting back into Marvel. I just got back. I picked up my first Spider-Man. I think now I'm 2 issues into to Carnage. I've been reading some Marvel. I mean, I say that I haven't been reading Marvel. I've been reading Aliens since the beginning because I am an Aliens fan.
Okay.
Um, I mean, media wise, I love Marvel, MCU and stuff like that. I'm up to date. I saw Black Widow like day one. I saw, as soon as Loki came out, I mean, I've watched all of it. It's not like, I just watched Loki and I didn't know. I watched, Winter Falcon as soon as it dropped. I watched, WandaVision, as soon as it came out. I mean, it's had pluses and minuses, but I'm a comic book fan.
Gotcha. All right. Johnny Funko says, Evil, is Spider Man your favorite Marvel character?
Hmm. I would have to say probably because he's one of the more relatable. Everybody always says that, but he's one of the more people that most people associate with because he's supposed to be a regular guy trying to cope with his powers. But see, that's different. Like, I mean, that was back in the 90s and 2000. It was kind of like that. Now, I don't even know where Spider-Man is. Like I've told people, the last time I read Spider-Man was right after the Superior Spider-Man. And I love that storyline with Doc Ock becoming Spider-Man. But I haven't read since then, so I have no idea what's going on. Like this new villain, I don't even know who the heck he is. He looks cool, but
Right. All right. Mark Spector, how you doing? Nice of you to stop in. Hope all is well.
and I do vape.
Good morning. What?
I'm not a big fan. I vape,
Oh,
tobacco, but
gotcha.
I'm not like you'll never see it in my videos. I don't like to showcase it. I try and keep that separate. I do it in my live streams just because live streams are long. Dang.
Hank, how you doing? Nice of you to stop in. Hope all is well. So, how long have you
Um,
been? How long have you vape? Are you a
now
smoker
for
or
4 years,
4 years?
I think.
Okay,
Hmm. I
not,
smoked
not
for
too
like
long. Or
I smoked cigarettes for like 25 years, and then I went to vape.
are you?
So for me, I'd say, people are afraid of the vape and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, it's just like comics. I researched it. I looked into it. I didn't have that whole scare with getting sick and the popcorn line and all that stuff that was on the news.
Gotcha.
Um, it was scary, seeing it. But I think that some things in the media are kind of distorted sometimes.
All right, another question from Johnny. Do you have a favorite villain?
Ooh, see, that's my question. I like villains more than I like heroes. Favorite villain? It would have to be the Crimson King from Dark Tower series.
Okay,
And a lot of people think he looks like the devil. He does. He's supposed to be like that universe's devil, but I'm kidding. But it's more along the lines of he honestly looks like Santa Claus. He looks like a very
really?
evil version. Yeah, I mean when they no spoilers, but at the final book when the main character finally does do the battle with the Crimson King and all the illusions are
Yeah,
cast aside, he's like an evil version of Santa Claus.
gotcha.
Um, in comics, I do have certain villains that I do love. Like Mr. Sinister has always been one of my favorites. Apocalypse. Like in Spider-Man, man, that's one of the reasons I do like Spider-Man. My specific heroes focus on who's got the better rogues gallery, and of course, my two biggest ones, Spider-Man and X-Men in Marvel, and they just have
Okay,
wonderful villains. And then in DC, it's Batman by far. What I love Superman, but one of my problems with Superman, and it's been forever, is his biggest bad guy is a human. Like, and it's great that this human can battle with Superman, but it's always
right,
like, and I know Superman's got a lot of villains, but that's his main villain is Lex. And no, nothing wrong with Lex, and but it's like, man, well, it wasn't until the '90s until Soup started getting really cool bad guys like Doomsday and some of the more recreate, the newer ones that we've seen. But some of the best heroes, in my opinion, they have some of the best stories with good villains. Like you can have this guy with all these powers, but if he doesn't have anybody to fight, I mean, what fun is that?
right, right. All right. So going back to the independence, what is your favorite independent company, and what title is your favorite title from the independents?
Okay, so are we talking like is Image considered an independent? Because that's
That,
weird for me.
yeah, Image is
Mm.
independent. Yeah. Are you a '90s kid?
Yeah, because now Images to me is just as big as Marvel and DC. That's kind of like Dark Horse. Dark Horse. I mean, they've been around just as big, and you're talking about like, I mean, it's funny because some Dark Horse keys are more expensive than DC keys sometimes, like Star
Right.
Wars and
Star Wars has
um,
gone up a lot. Yeah.
Star Wars is just pop. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I used to have a huge Star Wars collection with the Dark Horse and like Heir to the Empire. I had all that. I had a lot of stuff I've lost now, but stuff that I love, trying to get back into it. Oh, it's ridiculous now how much it's gained in value. Each issue is like 100, 200, $300 just raw. It's
Right.
ridiculous.
Right.
But independent. Okay, so I have a lot of independents right now that I love, like Layla Starr. I mean, when that issue drops, I mean, so far it's been every issue has been a fun, amazing read. The art is just really good. Another one that the biggest one that I'd say I want to read the most, like the top two is Vinyl, and Vinyl is just really
Right.
good. But
Yeah.
I want to read Plastic because it's the beginning part of Vinyl, and I didn't know that until I saw another YouTuber, and he was like, "Hey, did you know that it had a prequel?" So now I'm on this mission to collect. I'm actually waiting for a mail call. I had right before we did this, I had to put a note on my door because I'm supposed to get issues number one and issues number two of Plastic that I ordered off of eBay, which if
Okay.
you know my channel, I never do. I never order off of eBay. So it was I was like, I need to read this.
Nice.
Um, but another big one that a lot of people for some reason shun, and I have it right here because I've only read the first issue and but I love Carmen, man.
Harmon. Nice.
Uh,
Okay.
the first issue, it blew my mind how well executed a comic was. The story was kind of really basic, but elaborated the right way to really, I mean, just the first issue, just getting into the world and that they were painting was just amazing. And then the art that went with it. I want to say it's some of the best anatomy I've seen since reading comics. It's really it's man, there's so many good indies out there. I want to say Silver Coin is another one. I want to say Bunny Mask. The first issue was really good. I haven't read part two, which is like I think my next three that I'm doing on the review.
Right.
Um, Geiger has been good.
Yeah.
Nocterra has been
I
good. Bloom issue number one from your guy. It was
Did you
good.
get Bloom? Bloom was awesome. Yeah.
And number two is on my wrist. Yes, and that's the same cover I have. I didn't get any Bears like you lucky. My LCS only had one. Um, and Bloom didn't even I didn't even get it released. That's why I didn't pop up. A lot of these comics, like for instance this one. I think I picked this one up afterwards, and this is like Paranorma.
Here's Sonoma. Okay. Sonoma.
Uh, I haven't read this one yet. This right here, and if I can do this without this thing popping out, but this is like stacks of comics that I pick up along the way that are new that I still need to read that aren't technically in my
Okay.
like the stuff that I show in the weekly pickups and the now I show it as far as like, hey, I picked this up at half price or the dollar bins kind of thing. But a lot of those I don't never make it to the review. Hold on, I'm trying to fix the tripod. But a lot of it never makes it to my review part, which I plan to change. I want to do like kind of like single issue reviews. I've gotten really positive. Okay, and you open the floodgate, Sean. I can talk,
All
man.
right.
Um,
All right.
so
Uncanny, Uncanny D man. How you doing? Nice of you to stop in.
I love Uncanny. I'm about to do a push for Uncanny, man. We need to get him over 100.
All right. On to the next question. So you got your favorite title. Do you have a favorite title?
I'd say right now it has to be Carmen. Now all issues are out. And I'm missing issue number 3. I don't have number 3, so I haven't continued reading past number 1. I'm kind of like waiting until because I can read number 2 right now, and then I'd be like, man, I want to read number 3, and I'd have to go and buy it, and so I'm just waiting.
Gotcha. All right. Next question. Who is your favorite character and why?
I'd have to say Joker.
The Joker.
Yes, and a lot of it goes into misinformation. You know, I love talking to people that are only fans of like the movie and the animation and the games and stuff like that, and I partake in all those. I think I haven't missed a Batman game since its release, and I've completed every single one. I go nuts over the achievements, like especially now with the Riddler trophies, and I'm trying to, but Joker and Batman by far, and the whole yin and yang that goes into it, but a lot of the misinformation that goes into just perspective that we get from the comic or what they're showing us in the media wise, part of it. But like the Joker doesn't have a power. He does. It's called super insanity. Um, it's like that he's so insane that
Right.
he's beyond sane or something like that. That he sees the world in a different like playing field or something like that. Another thing I love is the whole like ideology that Harley and Joker have this like loving relationship, you know. And I mean, if you've ever read any of their comics, it's there for like a second, but man, you talk about one of the worst examples of a ideology of like a healthy relationship.
Right.
I like a lot of those facts about that, and I mean, because Joker's story is kind of simple. Besides his origin story, if you ever try and figure that one out, because I think there's like five now,
I think
but
so. Yeah.
like five main going, because there's all the different versions of him, but I don't know his story. It doesn't matter where he shows up. He always adds some kind of pizzazz, whether he's the side character in the background and he's just there because he didn't want to get shown up, or if he's the main star. I mean, look at Joker, and
Right.
I know you're reading it, and he's kind of like the backpedal character. I mean, the story is about James Gordon and his hunt and definition of being in Joker's world type of thing. Where does he fit in? How does that all play? But I mean, even in the background, every scene that you see with Joker is just amazing. It's always well written, kind of thing.
Bill from Comic Mag Musings, how you doing? Hope all is well. Nice of you to stop in. Uncanny D Man. Some people treat Joker and Harley as Romeo and Juliet, which is kind of true.
Yeah.
Need those people need education, right? Johnny Funko, what's your favorite woman from DC or Marvel? You have a favorite female character?
Yes, and actually, I kind of stick to. I'm still trying to fix this. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry.
No problem. Oh, did we lose Mike?
I'm
Just
here.
okay.
It's the tripod, and I should have went with another one. It's got this like slippery.
You're sideways now.
I know.
There.
Okay. Favorite.
Favorite female from DC or Marvel?
From DC, it by far have to be Batwoman. I've loved ever since her reintroduction, that they brought her in with the 52 universe. I've loved, I mean, that first run of the 52 series, that art was like on another level. If I had to compare it to somebody, and I can't remember the artist, but it's almost like an Alex Ross style of art that they did for that book, and it was just amazing. The show was good, but I mean, that book, the first like I want to was just stellar.
Here, okay.
Um,
Do you like Art Germ's artwork or Josh Middleton's artwork?
you'd have to give me a reference. That's the thing.
Art Germ does a lot of Batgirl also, and he did a lot of Wonder Woman covers. And
Then I
it's kind of the same thing with I don't know if I have it around here, but no, I guess I don't. But yeah, they do some pretty nice covers. They're more like the modern books right now.
we can look together and see. I'm not see. That's the thing. I'm not. I know a lot of names. I know our. I recognize our germ. That's like Jock, and I know I
Right.
have like what his comic book box is somewhere.
I don't have one close by me.
That's like some Jock art that most people know. From one of his Batman covers. I don't know if you can see it. It's the Joker with
Yeah, that's the. Yeah, I have it up there on the wall, right there.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's from Jock. Yep.
Let me see, but Batgirl.
Yeah, I don't have any. I don't have any art germ close by me.
Because I don't have a lot of background. I do see that's like I do read Batman, and to read Batman you gotta like kind of read his whole family because he pops up here and there and blah blah blah. So
Gotcha.
like and I am a big Batgirl, Catwoman, Red Hood, but as far as like being able to buy all those comics all the time, it doesn't really happen. So I always, Batman and Detective I've stuck on since, I started again in 2018. But the
Okay.
only times I really pick up Batgirl or anything in his family is when it pertains to an event like the Joker War. So I have like all the Batgirl issues during the Joker War, or I have all of her run during Death in the Family, the 52 run, or something like that. Um, I don't know if I've picked up. Oh, what's up, Chop? I don't know if
How are you
I've picked,
doing?
man, Chop is the man. I mean, that's like Harley. I am a big Harley fan, and I used to have a lot of Harley, but now after recollecting, I don't have so much. I can show y'all real quick what I have.
All right. So, who is
But
your
that's like,
favorite for Marvel? Who is your favorite female character for Marvel?
I like She-Hulk. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
A lot of them are X-Men related. I'd have to say the one that I'm always drawn to the most is Psylocke. Kind of lost on her
Nice.
because I think now it's like now she's Betty Brant. I don't know. I don't know the whole like
Very
dilemma behind. But the '90s Psylocke that I'm kind of used to, that I was always drawn to her on the covers. I always thought she was sexy. But I mean, Rogue was one of my favorites, and Rogue with the Miss Marvel powers and everything. Storm, a
so
lot
yeah.
of the X-Men. And then especially because Storm, like, I mean, for me, a lot of people don't remember this, but she was with Forge.
Right.
For the longest time, she was with Forge, and then it was like when she finally got with the T'Challa and everything. I thought that was one of the, like, you talk about power couples.
Uncanny D Man says, "What is your favorite single issue of any Bat title? Do you have a
Single
favorite single issue?"
The Breaking of the Bat, the Nightfall, and I actually have like I think I bought it like 6 or 7 times. I buy it every time I find it. I've actually given it to people. I buy it so often. My best friend has like two covers of the same, and he doesn't understand why he has two issues of it because he's never read the comic. And I'm like, this is when Bane broke Batman.
Right. Ranger Sly, how you doing? Nice of you to stop in.
Hey,
Hope all is
Ranger Sly.
well.
I mean, I love Ranger Sly. A lot of these people, man. This is everybody. I'll show off some stuff.
All right.
This is like the lenticular, and it's like from Future's End. It's Harley Quinn #1. I don't know if the lenticular part is showing up.
Not as good though. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
This was the Harley Quinn #1 invades San Diego Comic-Con, the variant or whatever.
Nice.
And then a bunch of them is just Harley Quinn that I found since then. It's like, and it's like 5, 6, 7. And for the most part, I have a lot of the issues, but like I don't have any of the 52. I'm now most of the 52 run in the Harley Quinn series is kind of expensive.
Chop and Drop says, "I do not have two copies of that book, Mike. Not sure."
Oh, you can see I will say that I buy like Harley covers all the time, and I have a lot of the variants that I do like.
Okay.
I love that black, white, and they only show the blue and red in her hair. And I have
Who that one? Forgot that one. Like,
um
yeah, that's is it Cho? Frank
yeah, it
Cho?
looks like so. Yeah, it
Okay.
looks like so. Like right here, I think that's Cho too with the floating head or whatever.
So those are variant covers. So do you like collecting variants?
I do and I don't. I don't have that big problem like, oh, there's too many variants out there. I will say for me being like I'm only able to pick up one issue, I value, sometimes I have like I think Barbaric, I bought like the 4 covers because it was such a great read and it was so cool. Some stuff I do buy double covers. Like a lot of my Batman, I always pick up like the A and B covers. And I kind of do that for a part two reason. I'm hoping sooner or later I can find a friend that wants to read some of these comics and I could give them, the secondary issues. So now they're like being put into AOKs because I don't have any friends that read comics.
Okay. Chop and Drop. I love this community. So many amazing people. Yes, I agree.
I I can say that I had no idea that starting a YouTube channel that it was going to be this engaging. I knew that there was going to be like I was hoping that there was going to be some comments and I get to talk about comics on some level. I did not know that it was going to be like this, where we had to find like it's like every day I'm out there subbing up new channels, to support the community. I mean, it's so vast. I mean, I think I already have like 200, 300 different channels I'm sub to. And This community is amazing, and people like Chop and you, Sean, and Casual B and Gary B. And there's so many great supportive channels out there, man. All these people that we mentioned, if you're like a regular viewer, because there's a lot of you that have channels, Johnny Funko, a lot of y'all guys have channels, right? But if you're just an up and coming channel and you hear any of these names, you probably want to sub them up because there's some of
Right.
the best, people to support you, especially in the beginning, man.
So Johnny says, is there a comic book that you read that you didn't like at all?
Yes. There, okay. I kind of shy away from the negative because I mean, what really is a bad comic, right? What's really considered bad art? Well, that's one perspective or one opinion.
Right.
Okay, now there have been, in my opinion, some bad comics, and I will say like Teen Titans. I think it was issue number 2 and 3. They were just horrible. Not Teen Titans. Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad.
Okay.
And on this new run. I think issue number 2 made my trash pick of the week, which I've only had one trash pick of the week on my channel. It was so bad. It was just, it was like the writing felt so sloppy, the art, and it was just like, meh. And
Yeah.
it was just like, it felt like they just put out that, tide, and it was really a filler issue.
Gotcha. All right. So on to the next question. Do you collect figures and what kind?
I collect all kinds, guys, all kinds. Let's do a little walking tour. All
Sure.
right, so that's my studio that I usually, and starting right here, I have like I have posters everywhere. I love posters, but I have, let me turn on. Yep. All right, so starting right here, I have like all kind of Hot Wheels that just go on forever, and
Nice.
a lot of my Hot Wheels are like pop culture stuff. I got Scooby Doo, Flintstones, Fast and the Furious, Ninja Turtles. I collect random ones that they've never done before, like a shopping cart Hot Wheel, a wiener Hot Wheel. But surfboards, these are all holiday related. Like, hey, I made it through 2018.
Nice.
Um, y'all have seen the mock statue Luffy that I use, but I have like other statues that like
All
I'm a
right.
big Supergirl fan. I actually love Supergirl more than I love Superman. Um, the Gundams and all these I've custom painted and they're all in gloss.
Nice. Okay.
Um, I have
Hidden
a
Gem. How you
Spawn.
doing? Spawn. Nice.
I have my Dark Crystal in the VHS package, never been opened.
Gotcha.
Everywhere in my house, there's a Boba Fett within 10 feet somewhere. I mean, literally, I turn and there's another one,
So would
and
you
there's
say
another
he's your
one.
favorite Star Wars character? Is he your favorite Star Wars character? Nice.
Yes, I love all the villains, and I'm not one of those people where I'm like, I don't like episode 1, 2, and 3. Boy, I love all Star Wars. I even like the Ewok movies. Now, I can say the one that I don't like is the Christmas special. I don't know what they were doing, but I mean, um, I like Star Wars, and for me, any Star Wars is good Star
Right.
Wars. The fact that they're continuing it, because y'all think about it, Return of the Jedi could have been the end of Star Wars, and for like 15 years, it was the end of Star Wars. I mean, that
Right.
was it for the longest time until I think we got like the Gwendy Tartakovsky, animated universe right before Episode 1. I think that's when it came. I don't remember, but
All right.
I love Star Wars, but I do love Boba Fett, and he's always painted as a villain. I don't see him as a villain. I would say like anti-hero or something like that. But his
Right.
job profession kind of dictates that
Yeah.
he's not really a villain. I mean, how often do you hear him like screwing over people, or that would make him a villain, and he's not really known for that.
So we have Hidden Gems. How you doing? Nice of you to stop in. Adrian V Comics. How you doing? Nice of you to stop in. Adrian. Evil Mike has an amazing collection of Hot Wheels.
I do. I have a storage unit where I have a lot of my comics and a lot of my collectibles, and I've done that for reasons tied to the event. I've been really nervous about keeping my collection in one space, so a
Right.
lot of my coolest stuff is in my storage unit.
Okay, Johnny says, Evil, do you know how much Hot Wheels you have or in your collection total?
The last time I counted was like 1,030 something cars.
Really? Wow, that's a
Mhm.
big collection. When did you
That
start collecting Hot Wheels?
Okay, that I started probably in like 2015. Now I've been picking up Hot Wheels. Like I'm not a car guy at all.
Right.
In real life, I don't know a lot about cars. I know how to change my oil, a tire, basic stuff. But I've never gotten into the mechanic side of it.
Wow.
Um, but I'm not a car fan in general. Like if I had to say, like if I had like bajillions of dollars, Mike would probably go out and buy like a 1996 Honda Accord for like a couple $1,000s. Um,
Yeah.
I do
Where's
have
your Chop says, "Where's your 10-second car?" He keeps asking me where is his 10-second car is all.
my 10-second car.
Do you have a favorite car that you like in your collection?
Not necessarily. I have like I have biggest wins, like like you say, holy grails and stuff. And that's my Batman stuff because okay, I started with Batman Hot Wheels first,
Okay.
and and that's all I was picking up was just Batman Hot Wheels because I'm not a car guy. I mean, I grew up, I mean, I've been around forever, and Hot Wheels have been there forever. And I played with Hot Wheels as a little kid, but that's as far as it went. And then in 2015, I was working at Walmart, and I worked all over Walmart. I worked for Walmart for like 10 years.
Wow.
Um, but at the time, I'd met like a vendor that worked for Mattel, and that's when I had learned about the treasure hunts and the super treasure hunts, kind of like variants, but
Gotcha.
it was like chases and pops, stuff like that. But I didn't even know this existed, so that's kind of what fueled like my love of Hot Wheels was going after those treasure hunts and stuff like that. If I had to say like the coolest car I have right now, and for me, it's like this one, and it is a Batman one, but it's this one.
The
Um,
mobile or
It's the 1989 Batmobile, and it's a color shifter. And okay, in Batman cars, they do character cars, and they do like they do like fancy cars like this, but they don't do a lot of like the monster trucks, and they don't do a lot of the color changes. This is the only one that they've ever made. And then plus that, it has a printing error on the because it doesn't have those flames even when you splash it, but I don't know, it was kind of cool, and it was really hard to find at the time, and I found it without having to pay like eBay prices, and
gotcha.
so I mean, it was kind of cool.
So do you have a favorite figure that you like?
Boba,
Boba?
um, yeah,
Okay.
right here. I have like some. I have like, excuse my ass, but I love Todd McFarlane. I have a lot of people don't even know this, but where he started was sports memorabilia and collectibles,
Right.
and then he went in his next phase was dragons.
Dragons.
And I'm a big dragon fan as it is, and there's not a lot of dragon stuff out in the world. So the fact that Todd McFarlane was doing dragon statues, I was like, yeah, and I think I have his whole collection, and they're everywhere in my house. Like I have another
Yeah,
one.
I have a dragon. Um, I have a couple of dragon figures or from McFarlane Toys. Yeah, that's a nice one. Yeah.
I have that. I think the whole first two series, and the second, I made the mistake of taking the whole first series out because they're statues. So I kind of like put them in my house, and then I found out they were really, they were worth money. I was like, dang it. Um,
Okay, on to the next question, Mike. Do you going back to comics? All right. Do you prefer older comics or new comics?
I prefer newer comics because they're current, and it's not to say that I don't. Okay, that it's like twofold, but it's the stories that are in modern comics that they're just. I mean, and Sean, I know but these indies and stuff, they're just on a different level. I mean, it's like now they're finally being allowed to explore the ultimate levels of their imagination, and it doesn't feel like they're being suppressed. I mean, I've seen decapitations in comics. I mean, if you read the Red Room, you know what I'm talking about. And there wasn't any. I mean, Red Room was sold right off the shelf. It wasn't like they had to like keep it behind the counter. It wasn't like I had to walk out with a black bag. It's different times. Now I will say I love collecting anything like in comics. So finding any golden or silver or bronze, heck yes. And I don't find them too often. Most of the golden, well, I haven't even shown any golden, but most of the bronze or silver I found in the wild, they're very rare here. Houston, it's been like, I want to say back in 2018, comics were already starting to get big here. And it's just really
Okay.
hard to find anything 90s and before. And if you do, it's like Ravager 2099, or it's the stuff that not a lot of people want, like Cyforce from the 80s,
Okay.
or
So we got Luis Ramirez. How you doing? Nice of you to stop in. All right. Next
hello.
question, Mike. Do you go to cons or small conventions, and what is your favorite con?
I do go to cons and small conventions. I go to a lot more smaller cons than I do bigger cons, just because of money wise.
Right.
Um, I stress this, and a lot of my money already goes into comics, so I don't usually have like a super buttload of money set aside for other stuff. Now, yes, some other stuff, but okay, so like here in Houston, and we kind of briefly mentioned it last night, but it's Comic Palooza, and I think it's like next weekend.
Oh
I've
yeah.
only I've only been to, and it's a big. I want to say, for some reason, Houston's in this weird like where we're treated as this like stepchild of America or something like that, and we're one of the biggest cities in America. Like, it's like we never get like we do get big names. Like I think Donnie Cates is going to be here. I
Okay.
think there's a lot of like I think Lois and Clark from the TV show they're going to be
Oh,
here.
nice.
There's a lot of big celebrities and stuff that are going to be here. The problem is with Comic Palooza, it's a lot like Comic Con of San Diego. It's like you got to pay for entrance, then you got to pay like autograph like passes, and
Right.
it's like I think altogether to get like a regular autograph on a comic, it's like a $250 thing. um, I like the smaller cons. Like I have pictures on my Instagram where I got to meet Doug Hazelwood from the Flash run in the '90s.
Nice.
And the smaller cons, man, not only do you get to sit there and talk with the guys, but it's like everything's a lot cheaper, and it's just a more like hometown feel, especially in Houston, because it's huge.
All right, Mike. So social media. What do you use, and what do you follow besides YouTube?
I'm big on YouTube now, so like that's one thing I will mention. If you ever like look at my name on YouTube on my channel, it'll always show me active because I use YouTube for a lot of things, not just my channel. But I watch a lot of other YouTubers. But I also use it when I'm reading because I read with music. I listen to music while I'm at work, so I'm always on YouTube, whether I'm able to talk or not. Okay, other platforms, I'm on Instagram. I most always link my Instagram and my Gmail in all my descriptions. Sometimes I get lazy and I'm like, okay, I don't need to put it every time, but it's usually there.
Gotcha.
I do use Facebook, and I don't really like Facebook too much anymore. Nothing wrong with it. It's just it's more my personal. It has like my pictures of my kids and my family and stuff like that. So that's why I haven't linked that. Um, but I'm not on Whatnot. I'm not on TikTok. I watch a lot of TikTok because it pops up in YouTube, but
Yeah.
I'm just not. I'm not on TikTok. I don't even think I could figure out how to do a 20-second video. I try to make a 5-minute video. It's hard for me.
Right. Okay. So on to the next question, Mike. What do you like about the comic book community?
First off, I don't have any comic book friends in real life. This is
Okay.
y'all are, right. Y'all are getting to witness like something for real.
Right.
I don't have comic book friends. So my first YouTube and whoever commented on my first channel, that was my first interaction ever in life, being able to talk to somebody about comics. Now I go to comic shops every Tuesday and Wednesday, but I'm like that invisible guy that no one remembers, and I'm
Mhm.
fine. I get in easy, I get out. But I've been going to the same shop for like I think 8, 9 years now, and they don't remember who I am. Like,
Wow.
and I spend a lot of money at my
Right.
shop.
Yeah.
If y'all watch my channel, I pick up a lot of stuff.
Same here.
Uh,
Yeah, same here. When I go to my LCS, it's like I'm like in the back. They don't really they don't know who
okay,
I
Sean,
am.
pause, because I got a question for you, and I've been
All right.
watching your channel. You are one of the people that I was a fan before I made my channel.
Okay.
Now,
Thank you.
of course, when I changed my name, all my stuff like disappeared, which I didn't think that was going to do. I thought it was going to merge. And um, okay, so I want to know something about what do you do in real life? Now, if I had to guess, I want to say you're like in the medical field.
Yeah. Before I started, I was a graphic artist. I was designing model cars until economy went down, and then I got into my wife got me into nursing.
Mm.
So I am a registered nurse. I'm a nurse. So
I work in the medical field too, and I had the suspicion you have like a like a stance or something. I don't know. I can't. There's something I can get from your video. I've always wanted to know that, but I never know like calling y'all by y'all's first name. I remember I started doing that, and I didn't know if I was supposed to do that, like call y'all by Sean. Or like
yeah, yeah. A lot of people, yeah, just call me Sean. Sean's fine. Hey, Gray man, how you doing? Nice you stopped in.
great
But yeah,
man.
I am a nurse, so I do dialysis. People that can't go, their kidney fails, they can't go pee and all that stuff. So the machine helps them take out the fluids in their body and all the chemical stuff. Yeah, so that's what I do. So I do dialysis.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I can't mention the company I work for. Some people out there do know who I work for, and there's a big reason, and they know I have a YouTube channel, so they've kind of made sure that I don't mention their name. But I do work in the medical industry, and I work specifically for the vaccine. That's as much as I can say.
Okay.
Um,
You told me what you work for, so yeah.
but that's why I'm always kind of at work. My job, man, and hopefully soon. I'm not gonna do like a channel update or anything. I don't think I'm big enough to do a channel update. But I work 5 days, and I almost always work like 14-hour days. Some days 16.
Okay.
But that's about to change. Where we're going back to 4 because now COVID.
Or
I
okay.
shouldn't have said that. Oops. But because the whole thing's slowing down and going back to normal. So yay.
All right, Mike. So any dislikes about the comic book committee?
Um, Not dislikes, but I will say that I mean there's this general thesis because I'm a comic book creator and that I'm supposed to go out and find everybody, and I'm loving that part because you do find new people that you do love. But in that same thesis, it goes the other way where there are people that I generally just don't like or I don't find them so entertaining, so they're hard to watch some of their videos. Now, if I haven't shown up in your YouTube thing, because I know I've subbed a lot of people, and it's just time. I don't have time to be in everybody's live chat and I try to, when I get home, I go through and I'm not one of those people that like to watch a 5-second thing and then post a comment and on to the next person. No, I like to watch and listen because a lot of this stuff I want to know. I love like, man, one of my favorite is Low Budget. And, there's not a lot of chat that goes into Gene stuff, but it's just, I get to see a lot of comics that for me are brand new. I mean, it's like Free Key. I love Free Key because for one, his attitude and his personality and the skits and everything, they're great too. But a lot of it is I'm getting to see new stuff that for me is just new. A lot of people are like, he's probably seen that before. No, me crying on camera, getting that grail, that was legitimate. I've never had a grail. I've never had a slap before. Like holding Avengers #1. Like I've never done that before. I've seen them, in the back, in the back walls of comic shops, but I've never
Right,
spent
right.
$50 to own it.
Nice.
But I will say that there are. It's not a. I won't say it's a dislike. I will say it's just say I'm one of those type of people. If I sub you and I don't like you, I'm gonna unsub you. It's not that. It's just I won't be so supportive of your channel. I won't show up in every. But I'm not like that. I don't discriminate. I don't. Everybody's their own. They got their own opinion. They got their own views, perspectives, and that's honestly what I'm looking for is different views, different perspectives.
Gotcha. From here's the icon. How you doing, Jason? Nice you stop in. I know I have zero personality. Okay.
Who is that?
That from heroes to icon. I know I have zero personality.
Some of these people.
Ranger side. What should be illegal aside from not owning a amazing mug?
Again, I want a Gray Man's in my. I do like Gray Man. And I love Ranger Slide, man. I love Ranger Slide. Um, It's funny because for the most part, I only know icons until I finally go and find out what they look like. And I just, I knew Ranger Sly long before I finally saw what he looked like, and I was like, yes, I could finally put the picture to Um, go back to the question, Sean. I got rambling.
What question were we on? Okay, we were talking about the dislikes. So I think you pretty much covered it, right?
I mean, there's certain people. It's like, and there's certain people I've given second chances because I might have seen one of their videos on a bad day, and I'm not quick to jump to conclusions, and I hope people don't do that with my channel. Especially, I know a lot of people have trouble saying my name, Evil Mike. Just say Mike. It's okay. Um, but I did that whole video on the power of words, and that's kind of why, because it's a word, evil, and a lot of people have trouble, saying that word. But I have given like that. I'm not going to name any names, but there was a video I've seen of one person, and he reviewed a comic that I was really interested, and I saw his review, and I watched the whole thing. It wasn't long, maybe like 8, 9 minutes.
Right.
And by the end of it, it was a struggle to make it through that 8, 9 minutes, and that's not even that long. But it was really a struggle because it was just there was no interest put in it. There was no like love for what he was talking about, and I was just like, "Oh, this guy is not for me." And like maybe a couple weeks later, another one popped up, and he was talking about another comic that I was interested in, and bam, his second video was so much better. The attitude was there. It was just maybe he was having a bad day.
Probably, maybe. All
I
right.
don't know.
On to your next question here. Any shout outs? Shout out a few of your favorite channels.
How about because I have like I want to say I have a top seven, and Sean, you're definitely in my top seven. Every time you drop a video, I'm there. I try to
Okay.
be. You do, yeah. I will say you do a lot of live streams, and I can't be there on time restraints, but I do try and pop in, pop out when I can, just to support. But I will say I have like a top five. Kind of went out of the thing. I will say I have like a top 7 or 8 YouTubers that when they drop stuff, I flock to their stuff, and it's either based on personality or you know what they bring to the table. But if I had to name names, Chop and Drop 2013. Ever since, and I'm late to his game, but I love his videos. They're very simple. That's all I need. But his support that he shows behind the camera, that's why I love Chop and Drop. I love Gary because Gary doesn't know this, but I'm a huge Conan fan and always have been, and I've always wanted to read Conan, and for some reason never got around to it because I just don't know where to start. So having a channel like
Right.
Gary out there, and Gary might think that I don't like him. I love Gary so much.
Gary.
But
Gary's in the house.
Dane Comics, and
Right.
if ever anybody has ever watched, I know Caps, but Caps is another one. I love Kenny. Jerry the Jitterbug. Man, I show Jerry the Jitterbugs. I think I share his stuff more than anybody's because of his restoration work. He's doing stuff that I didn't even think was possible. I didn't know you could fix comics. Like me doing that whole sticker thing, that came from Jerry.
All
I
right.
didn't know that stuff was possible.
Yeah,
Like
he's
getting
amazing.
a comic getting a comic wet. I thought they would dissolve.
Yeah, the same here. I was like, wow, it's amazing. I
Um,
hope all you are well. Yep. Yeah, Gary
Uncanny
is
D-Man.
awesome.
Uncanny D-Man is another one. I'm going to do a big shout out for him because I want to get him over 100.
Okay.
Let's see. Louis. Everybody knows Louis, but if you don't, look up Freaky Louis. Yeah, man, his stuff is the best. Okay, Spine Ticks. I love Spine Ticks. Sith Lordly, man, I love Sith Lordly. Let's see. DJ Links. There's so many. Stephanie and what's his name? Draw a blank. I'm bad with names, but low budget. Ajim, I can't remember, but let's see. Manny. Manny is probably like ever since I seen his art. Okay, talking about artists, I'd have to say that seeing Manny's work, he's probably jumped to my top three. Like Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, and bam, Manny might be right there because I love his art so much. He's literally a person that I have been searching for his comics at a decent price on eBay, and I don't do that a lot. Like I just mentioned, plastic, but there's only been a couple comics that I've actually searched for on eBay, and Manny, yours are some comics that I'm trying to get because hopefully I'd like to send them to him in the Philippines and get them signed. I felt so bad because I didn't even know he was a comic book artist and writer, and
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's a great artist. Have you seen some of his stuff? Yeah, he's got
I,
some great stuff.
as soon as I found that out, and I felt really bad because he was already subbing to me, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm an artist." I was like, "What?" And he started sending me links. I've gone back and almost watched all his stuff, his collection pieces. I love all his stuff. I'm a big international fan as it is, so I kind of have a draw to that. I want to say like, there's
Hey,
something
there
about.
he is. There's Manny.
I love Manny, man. I've said this before, but I'm trying to be his number one fan, and I love his work, man. He's shown I think no, I'm not going to name any names because they are weird independent titles, but man, I'm really trying to find a lot of his books. But there's a lot of great YouTubers, and every day there's just, there's a lot of names out there like DJ Links. I heard his name mentioned a long time before I finally, was able to sub him. And a lot of times I think I was subbed to people, and for some reason, like YouTube started unsubbing me, because I know for a fact I was subbed to Dane Comics, and he was one of the first people I found. He was my inspiration to starting my channel, was how he did his show. And he kind of made it feel like anybody could do it. And after that, I already wanted to do a channel. I just didn't know, either gaming or movies or TV, something like that. But I've
Gotcha.
always kind of wanted to do it. But he just made it feel like you didn't have to do all the editing stuff and you know all this other stuff to do a channel. You just had to be in front of a camera and talk.
So, Mike, any goals for this year?
Goals for the channel, I would love to
Yeah,
be a big channel, and honestly I love my growth. It's like every day I pick up 5 or 6 new subs. To
nice.
me, that I love that. I can't believe that there's like 100 and some odd people out there that are for some reason listening to me, or spending their time with me, and I put out a lot of junk, so I mean,
Well, you got a
um,
great channel too. You got a great channel. Keep it up, man.
thank you. I try, and sometimes, it's like, and honestly, in the real world, I tell people like, oh, now I got homework, because I got to go home and read the books, and then I got to review them. But I love it. People have said this before, but my channel is like the best thing in my life right now. It's not to say that I don't have good things. I'm a happy person.
Right.
I try and stay happy, even no matter, and I have videos to help people, like, to if they're having a bad day. And but I'm just a happy type of guy, so I try and live that way. But as goals, I want my channel to be a little bigger. I do want to get into the editing side of it.
Okay.
Um, so because right now I feel like a low budget channel, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I do feel like a low budget channel. But I want to feel like a more like progressed, I don't want to be like Comic Tom or Comic Bueller or anything like that, but I would like to have some, like, editing to it. Goals as far as like real world, I have like rails that I'm looking for. I want Carmen number 3. I want Plastic number 5. That's the only one I'm missing now. I want, really, my biggest goal is trying to complete, which is small to a lot of people, but the new 52 run of Batman. I
Okay.
used to have it. I used to have it. I love, 1 through 52. They were, every villain that they touched on were just amazing. Zero Hour. Everybody forgets about that whole Riddler. That was great. Um, the whole Joker storyline, the death of the family, the Court of the Owls, and now it's getting to the point where it's getting a little bit pricey. So I'm trying to get it before it gets out of my reach.
Gotcha. All right. So, any new vids coming out pretty soon?
Yes. If you don't know, I drop vids every day.
Yeah,
And
a
and I
lot.
try I try and keep it once a day. Okay, I relate this. I'm a single man with a camera and a microphone. Okay, so you get what you get, and I try and slow it down for some people because I do want you to watch my stuff and listen to what I got to say. I hope people out there use my channel because there's two type of people that I'm talking to, and I can say since I started my channel, where is it? I've gotten 4 people to start reading comics. that had never picked up comics before, and through my channel and other people like you, because I have somebody watching your channel, Sean. I have somebody watching Uncanny. I have somebody watching Gary. I have two people watching Gary. I'm not gonna mention any ties, but I do share y'all stuff. But what do you call it? Yeah, I lost where I was going. I'm getting old, Sean.
You and me both, man. Okay.
Um,
Any other figures, comic books, toys that you want to show?
Uh, um, I mean, okay, we were talking about that's what we were talking about. Next videos. Okay.
Yes.
So besides I do weekly pickups, everybody, I mean that's kind of what I do my weekly pickups and then I review comics. The two people that I'm trying to talk to are people that aren't into comics that maybe saw like an MCU movie and all of a sudden they wanted to find out about some comics. Hey, that's what you can use my type of channel for. I try not to spoil, and I mention this a lot. They do not mean anything to me. I think you need to experience it and read it and see it for your own to really be spoiled. I think it does take some excitement away if you're, like finding out Darth Vader was Luke's father. But guess what? I was one of those kids that got spoiled walking into that, walking in Empire Strikes Back, and I remember it didn't change it. It was still a surprise when I saw it.
Yeah.
Um, Okay, next up, I'm gonna start doing, and I have some examples right here because I do my regular reviews, but like I said, I pick up so much stuff that I don't have time to review like everything that I do. So what I'm gonna start doing is I kind of want to start reviewing like some of these old indies that are from
Right.
the Comico and Epic Comics era that I've been picking up, and I've really enjoyed them as reads over. And a lot of people know these names like Sterling and those kind of things. But I want to start doing like reviews on stuff like this. And I have like this comic is Dynamo Joe,
Okay.
and this is from First Comics. It's issues 1 through 3, and I was able to get issues 1 through 3, so I'm gonna read it and then do like a small little review on it. But I want to start doing like I'm always gonna do because I have a lot of like complete comic stories, like especially as far as Batman is concerned, and I'm trying to not do it just a channel where it's all Batman because I love Batman and I have a lot of Batman. I can do that probably for like the next 2 years because there's so many good Batman stories.
Right. So
But
speaking of low budget, he's in the chats here. How you doing, a game?
budget. I love Ajim, man. One thing I do love about Ajim, and I don't think he's picked this up because I am a night owl. But he puts his stuff at like 5 in the morning. Well, I guess it might be like 6 for you, but
Really? Yeah.
here
Really.
it's like 5 in the morning for me. So it's usually like right as I'm either getting off of work or I'm at home, and it's like the first thing that pops up. So I'm like, I'm always first, and it's always like a great thing to watch his videos, man.
Nice. All right. So anything else that you want to add, Mike? Where I
I
think
can keep
that's all.
adding.
That's all my
I can
questions. Right.
I can
So
keep
whatever
adding.
you want to do, a free go ahead and do talk about anything you want.
I do have a giveaway coming up because I'm almost at 200.
Nice.
And I have stated that one of the giveaway items is going to be it's going to be that Fight Girls #1, a Frank Chow sign, but I'm not going to the signing till the 31st, so I can't really show it off yet because I don't have it.
Okay.
But I did buy 4 copies of that Fight Girls #1, all the same cover. I'll grab it right here. But I bought 4 covers, and all 4 covers will be, well, 3 of them, one's mine. But the other 3 covers will be
Bye,
getting
girl.
signed,
Okay.
and they will be going to. And I've actually contacted Frank Chow, and he's already agreed to do what, because I kind of want to do a little interview while I'm there with him for my channel.
Okay.
Simple Simon, if y'all know Simple Simon, one that I haven't mentioned one, but I love him too. But like kind of the way he's done his interviews, just real quick and not to take up too much of his time.
Gotcha.
But he did reach back and he said he was all for that, so I'm
Nice.
looking forward to that.
So
But
Manny says, make a top Batman book you love, Mike.
oh, I can do that. I can do that. Because I mean, and it's funny because a lot of people always focus on the same ones of Batman, like Hush or The Long Halloween and stuff like that. Like a lot of people miss the points of certain titles, like The Killing Joke. The end of the story is in the title. It was the killing joke.
Right.
What is it? I just mentioned it. The Long Halloween. Why is that important? It's the only case Bruce Wayne never solved. in all of Batman's history, it's the only completed.
Low
No, but
budget editing
there's
and watching. Okay, he's editing.
a
All right, Mike. So yeah, that is all my questions. Here, honest opinion. This is my spawn that I was telling you I was drawing.
I saw it because you were showing it off to your friend Rob, and I love it. I'd seen your art, and I don't remember which live it was on, but I mentioned before that I really liked your art, and now you told us you're into graphic artist. It kind of makes sense, but I really do like that. And I remember what you were talking about with the cape. You were trying to look at more, as mythical
Yeah,
and crazy as you could.
it looks. I don't know. It looks like more like fire, but I'm trying to. It looks.
It does kind of look like fire, but that's cool too.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a little different, but I'm trying to finish him up, but we'll see. I'll
No,
probably.
I like a lot of your art. I think I saw you do Wolverine. I think that's your Spawn. I've seen and
That's my Wolverine.
heck yeah. I think one of the best things I've seen about your art is hands. And it's funny because a lot of people have really like real problems drawing hands and feet. Come on, Liefeld.
Drawing
Um,
hands and feet.
but you do really well with the anatomy of hands and stuff. When I was looking at it, I think it was the Daredevil and the ribbons around like the
Oh
wrist
yeah,
and
this one
the
here.
detail. Yeah. Yeah, like you put a lot of detail. Like look at that leg with the crotch right there. I mean that is good shading, it's good anatomy. I mean it's a really good piece, my friend.
Yeah, I like to do pencils instead of like the inks and stuff. I'm more like a pencil guy. I don't really
Well,
do like ink stuff.
this is another thing that I want to add. If anybody has any contributions that they would like to, help out my channel, like my logo was done by a friend that is not into comic books at all, and the whole story is done by a 12-year-old girl. I think
Oh,
she's 12.
okay.
She might be 13. But I'm getting her into comics. She's kind of more structured or whatever, and she's not really allowed to venture out of the main thing, and so comics are new for her and her family, and so her drawing that for me was pretty amazing. And I didn't know what I was going to get. I just I kind of told her just horror and evil, and I let her take whatever freedom list, and that was what I got. But I'm not stuck on that logo. I want to say if anybody in their free time would like to draw me a new logo, I'm all up for it. Maybe I'll have like a, hey, who can draw me the best logo challenge? I don't know. I will say I do like the challenges, and nobody got that on my, not even you, nobody got that. Y'all were supposed to do a video of, your top favorite animated R-rated Batman. Y'all were supposed to do a video challenge.
I think we just did chats, right?
Yeah, the chat,
Comment.
which is good too. But I was hoping it would, like Simon keeps trying to do these challenges. I think yesterday he did this like eating 10 custard pies from McDonald's, which I'm not gonna do. But he's trying to start these challenges.
I don't think I'm gonna eat that too. All right, Mike. Anything else? I think I'm all good here. Are you? Do you want to show or talk about anything else that's coming up? Any new books that you're going to be picking up for next week?
Um,
What is
that
Never Never? Have you picked that up yet? Or
My shop did not get it. I don't know why. Like, and they do get heavy metal books because the main LCS I go to is a big LCS, and they
okay.
usually have like a good amount of variants and ratios, and I just never have money for that. But for some reason, certain comics, they just, I don't know why. Like maybe the guy that's ordering, he just misses out on certain titles. Like I was really happy to get the God Killer books because I didn't hear anybody else. I still to this day have seen a channel where they have mentioned God Killer the comic.
Right.
And I kind of like that. I like that there's certain books that I'm picking up that nobody else is talking about. That way, that if you didn't hear about it, hey, and it sounds something cool. I remember I was one of the first people that was on Stray Dogs. I was like, man, you gotta get on this, and look at Stray Dogs now. It's like $100 comic.
Stray Dogs is expensive now.
It's
Like
ridiculous.
those homage covers. So
Uh, All of them are so crazy cool, and it's funny how late. I think everybody hopped on like issue 3. Like there were some people that started picking up day 1, and I don't think they knew. I didn't know how big it was going to be, but ever since, and I got lucky that my comic book person was like, "Hey, have you heard about this? It's like Lady and the Tramp meets Silence of the Lambs or something like that." I was like, "Yep, put it on my list."
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I
but
always
it's
say, don't let the cuteness fool you, because that's a good book.
it always makes me strange because in the comic book world, I will have to say this, that and most of you comic book fans will probably realize, but we have more imagination, more open-minded thinking because of the universes that have been laid out before us. Like the concept of a multiverse is not so foreign to us.
Right.
um I think that's why the comic book community on a whole is not so judgmental when it comes to like the LGBTQ, or because our world has been wide open for like our universes and our worldview has been open for like the longest time. So I want to say, if you're watching this and you're not like a comic book person, you might want to get to know some comic book people. As far as I know, we're the most open-minded, less judgmental. I mean, because of our dealings in comic books.
Nice. All right, Mike. So I pretty much have to go, but if you want to continue, we can continue.
Yeah, we're good. If you have to go, man, this is a good show. I really enjoyed it, and I really thank you for your time, man. My second show, and what an honor to be on Slim's Comics, man.
Well, thank you for coming. Yeah, I was trying to get a hold of you, and luckily, yeah, you contacted me. Then we got to know each other. Yeah. Well,
Because
thank
I
you
know
for
that
coming on to my
I know,
channel.
I know there's a lot of people that are out there, and I'm just, for some reason, it's like I'm still subbing people and still trying to find people. But what's a multi? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on, the multiverse. But it's like trying to find everybody on Instagram. If you don't know me on Instagram, I mean, it's the same thing. Evil's Comics, and I'm just as chatty on YouTube as I am on.
All right, Mike. All right, guys. So this is Evil Comics. This is Evil Mike. So yeah, go sub him up, give him some support and love. Thank you for all of you guys in the chats. Thank you for coming by. Have a good night, everybody. Mike, it's a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, and thanks for everybody for showing up.
All right, guys. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you later. Tomorrow, I will be on the Gray Man's channel, so I will be doing Cover Slingers. I believe 1 p.m. Central Time here. So yeah, Gray Man's still here. So yeah, I will be on Gray Man's channel. All right, guys. Have a good night, and take it easy, guys. Pick what you like and like what you pick, guys. Bye.